Most people do not wake up one morning and suddenly realize they are behind. It happens more quietly than that. It happens through a bill that had to be paid, a repair that could not wait, a credit card balance that carried into the next month, and a retirement contribution that was supposed to restart soon. At first, it feels temporary. Then the years begin to pass. There is a moment many Americans reach in their 50s or 60s when retirement stops feeling like an idea and starts feeling like a date. Maybe it happens while looking at a statement. Maybe it happens while estimating a Social Security check. Maybe it happens after another month of groceries, insurance, housing costs, medical bills, and car payments. For years, the future seemed far enough away to negotiate with. Then, almost without warning, the future is standing at the door, and the question becomes hard to avoid. After all this work, where is the retirement account that was supposed to be there? For many middle-class Americans, this is not a story about laziness. It is not even a story about one terrible financial decision. It is a story about pressure, the kind that builds slowly, month after month, until the future becomes the easiest thing to postpone. A 401k contribution gets reduced for a while. An IRA never gets opened because the car needs work. Savings get paused because the mortgage, rent, insurance premium, or medical deductible has to come first. And nobody calls it a retirement crisis at the time. They just call it getting through the month. According to AARP, 60% of adults age 50 and older worrying about having enough money to last through retirement. Among older adults who are not yet retired, 42% have less than $50,000 in retirement savings. Those numbers are not abstract. They represent people who worked, paid bills, raised families, bought groceries, paid taxes, and kept moving. People who may have done many of the ordinary things they were told to do, yet still reach midlife wondering whether retirement is something they can actually afford. The Federal Reserve reported that only 35% of non-retirees said their retirement savings plan was on track. That means many people who are still working do not feel confident that the account they are building will be enough. EBRI found that worker confidence fell from 67% to 61%, and retiree confidence also declined. Even among people already living in retirement, the ground does not feel as steady as it once did. The visible problem is familiar. Life costs more than people expected. Housing takes a larger bite. Insurance arrives on schedule whether the household is ready or not. Groceries feel heavier. Medical bills can appear suddenly. Car payments can become another permanent monthly weight. Credit card debt can follow a family for years. Each one of these bills competes with retirement saving. And the dangerous part is that all of it can look normal from the outside. AARP reported that 69% of older adults say prices are rising faster than their income. That single fact explains a great deal. When income does not keep pace, something has to give. The rent cannot wait, the electric bill cannot wait, food cannot wait, medicine cannot wait, but retirement can appear to wait, because the pain of delaying it is not immediate. That is what makes the trap so quiet. The real problem is not always the bill itself. The real problem is what the bill teaches the household to postpone. Retirement saving often fails in silence. It rarely collapses in one dramatic scene. It is interrupted, it is reduced, it is borrowed from. It becomes the one obligation that can be pushed into next month, next year, or after things calm down. But for many households, things never fully calm down. There is always another repair, another balance, another family need, another price increase, another reason to say, just not yet. The Federal Reserve found that 14% of non-retirees borrowed from, cashed out, or reduced retirement contributions in the prior year. Among those who cashed out retirement funds, only 24% said they were on track. That matters because a retirement account is not just a number on a screen. It is supposed to be a bridge between working life and later life. When that bridge is used to survive today's emergency, tomorrow becomes more fragile. This is where many households begin to lose control without noticing. Not because they are careless, not because they do not understand that retirement matters, but because the present has become so demanding that the future keeps losing the argument. A person plans to save more next year, then next year brings a medical bill. The year after that brings a car loan. Then an adult child needs help. Then insurance goes up. Then a credit card balance takes over part of the paycheck. No one says, I am choosing not to retire. They say, I will catch up when things settle down. But sometimes, when things settle down becomes 10 years. That is why this subject carries so much emotion for people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It touches pride. It touches regret. It touches the quiet embarrassment of not being where you thought you would be by now. Many people worked hard. They showed up. They handled responsibilities. They tried to appear stable, even when they felt uncertain. And still, the account never became what they imagined. The consequences are not theoretical. In 2026, the average retired worker Social Security benefit was estimated at about $2,071 per month after the cost of living adjustment. For many households, that check is essential. But Bureau of Labor Statistics data showed that average annual expenditures for households aged 65 and older were $61,430 in 2024. Not every retiree spends that amount, and every household is different. But the comparison helps explain why so many people look at retirement and feel a gap between what they expected and what the math allows. Retirement then becomes less about dreams and more about monthly reality. Rent or mortgage, utilities, Medicare-related costs, groceries, insurance, transportation, credit card payments, prescriptions, home repairs. Maybe support for family. The paycheck may slow down or stop, but the bills do not retire, and time changes the meaning of every decision. At 35, a missed year of saving can feel recoverable. At 55, it feels different. At 62, it can feel urgent. The IRS sets catch-up contribution limits for older workers, and retirement saving tools do exist. But having a tool available is not the same as having money left at the end of the month to use it. For a household already squeezed by debt, healthcare costs, housing costs, and inflation, the issue is not always knowledge. Sometimes the issue is room. That is why blame is too simple. It may be emotionally satisfying to say people should have done more, saved earlier, spent less, planned better. Sometimes that may be partly true, but it does not tell the whole story. The deeper story is that many households spent years trying to protect the present, and each time they did, the future gave up a little more ground. The U.S. Census Bureau reported that in 2017, 49% of adults ages 55 to 66 had no personal retirement savings. That means this problem was not created overnight. It existed before the latest wave of inflation pressure made it more visible. The recent strain may have sharpened the fear, but the foundation was already there, and that is the sobering part. Retirement insecurity is often built from ordinary life. A washing machine breaks, a transmission fails. A deductible comes due, a child needs help. A credit card balance rolls over, a contribution gets paused. Each decision may make sense in the moment, but when those moments repeat for years, the retirement account does not get the time it needed. The trap is not always poverty. Sometimes, the trap is appearing comfortable. A household may have a job, a car, a home, a full refrigerator, and still be one interruption away from sacrificing the future again. From the outside, everything looks fine. Inside, the retirement account is quietly waiting for a calmer season that may never arrive. This does not mean the future is hopeless, but it does mean the pattern deserves to be seen clearly. The danger is not only spending too much. The danger is allowing every immediate pressure to outrank the older version of yourself. Because one day, that older version is no longer imaginary. The person who needs that retirement account is not a stranger. It is not a number in a report. It is you, older, more tired, possibly less able to work, and hoping that the years of effort turned into something solid enough to stand on. That is the quiet lesson in this story. Retirement security is not shaped only by big financial decisions. It is shaped by the small decisions that repeat, the contribution that stays paused, the balance that never quite disappears, the emergency fund that never gets rebuilt, the account that exists but never grows large enough to feel like protection. For middle-class Americans, the retirement account that never got built is not just a financial problem. It is an emotional one. It carries the fear of working hard and still falling behind, the fear of becoming dependent, the fear of reaching an age when health is less certain, energy is lower, and the paycheck may no longer be there. But there is also a kind of relief in naming the pattern. The data suggests many households are facing similar pressure. That does not erase the problem, but it can remove some of the shame. If retirement saving has been interrupted again and again, the question is not only, how did I get here? It is also, what keeps repeating? For some people, the pattern may be debt. For others, it may be housing. For others, medical expenses, family support, insurance, or inflation. For many, it is all of these pressures at once. And once the pattern is visible, it becomes harder to pretend that retirement can always wait. There is no miracle ending here, no single number that guarantees peace, no simple rule that fits every household, but there is a serious warning in the research. When retirement saving becomes the bill that can always be delayed, it may be delayed for so long that the account never becomes what it was supposed to be. And for millions of Americans, that realization is arriving late. Retirement used to feel distant, then it became a date, then it became a monthly income question, and finally, it became something much more personal. The future does not stay in the future forever. That is why this matters, not because every person failed, not because every household made bad choices, but because ordinary life has become expensive enough that many people spent years protecting the present while the future quietly lost ground. And when the paycheck finally slows, the future asks for what was never fully built.